In this video, it's been the mud wall versus the monsoons. That didn't make it, but our wall is still standing. So I'm back here at the property again after going to California for a few weeks, and we've had some weather. We had some monsoons and things, so I am very excited to see that my wall that I began before I left here is still standing. Very excited about this. I'm going to be adding to it, and we'll be adding a wall also to this side over here. We're going to do the metal like we did there, but on this side of the shower. So that's what we're going to be doing this time around. Before we got back to the cob work, my son and his son actually came for the weekend to help us out with some framing. So we had to make sure we prioritized that. We were putting together an outdoor patio that will be our future outdoor kitchen. So my husband and my son worked on that, and my little grandbaby worked in mud with me. He helped me to dig. He helped me to make some cob. He poured the water. He added straw. He stomped it. He had so much fun. And it was just a blast to have them both there at the property, you know, working with us, because in all honesty, this property belongs to them. And they were able to get it all framed up and finished over the weekend. And then my son had to go back home so that he could go to work. But it turned out beautifully. Here, my husband is putting on the metal roof. He also noticed or realized that they had ran the top 2x4s the wrong direction. So he had to undo them and redo them. But he was able to do it pretty quickly. And yeah, so he got that finished. All in all, it took about 3 days with having to go to town to get the supplies and all of that. That's pretty time consuming when you live, you know, miles off of road. But it was great. The project came out nice, and as soon as we're all finished with the bathroom, then we'll start on that kitchen. While the boys were working on the patio, I began working on the foundation for the cob wall to be added. So I dug out a trench, hand dug, and poured cement for a cement footer. So that's what you're looking at here. And then I was able to start adding cob. And every day, slowly but surely, inch by inch, the walls got higher. Now I had to stop because it would get super rainy, have to cover it up with tarps, and then go back at it again when it was dry. So my actual work time every day was cut pretty short. But I just kept on returning to it. And like I said, slowly but surely, those walls grew higher. And it was a lot of work. I was dirty, like filthy dirty. I was sore, but I had so much fun doing it. It was also therapeutic. And then halfway through, the monsoons came and hit hard. When the storm had finished doing what it did, we legit had like lakefront property. It was crazy, but it was cool to see what parts of the property flooded and what parts didn't. And we found out that our container is right in the little floodplain, so that wasn't good. And then What I was worried about was all of the supplies that I had left over at the bathhouse. I covered them with the tarp, but I didn't know if they survived. I had stacked my cement and lime and all my goodies on a pallet under this tarp, so we're gonna find out if it has survived the rain. I sure hope so. My straw is dry, sand is dry, my Portland is dry. Yes. Awesome. My tarp covered it all and kept it all dry, even through the monsoons. This is a very good find. I was nervous. Time to ditch the shoes. Yeah, barefoot is better. So that last monsoon was our last hurdle because after that, we just kept working and got her all done. All right, guys, we have now finished our wall. I'll show you in just a second. And we are about to start the plaster. So this whole experience has been like, it really is like baking a cake. You mix your ingredients, you build your cake, let it bake, and then you got to put on the icing. So we are now at the icing point. Super excited about that. Let me turn this around and show you guys what we're going to be doing. So here is our finished wall. I just wanted it high enough so that when you are in there doing your shower, people can't really see your body, but you can look over it. So it's pretty short, but that's the cob wall. Then we have the metal back wall. We have where the shower will actually go and a metal front wall. And on that other side is where the toilet is going to live. But today our focus is on getting this cake iced. So we are using sand. I have some play sand because you do need fine sand. I have lime, it's type S. I have some chopped straw, and what I'm doing is 2 parts sand, 1 part lime, and then I'm also using some of our sand from the property. So something really cool happened. We had monsoons, and with that came the separation. So we have the clay down on the bottom, and if you look at these ruts, we drove through here in the so it kind of made like a little creek going on, but you can see where all the clay is, but then you can also see the sand. So that was super exciting to see, because what we have is pretty fine sand and it's separated from the clay. So I can harvest this. And if we were going to do traditional earthen plaster, we would use this ingredient, which is cow dung. Okay, it's time to put the icing on the cake. not to use gloves for this because the lime is caustic. I didn't use gloves for building the wall, but I will for the plastering. So we hand mixed the lime, sand, and water. We just added water little by little, mixing it and mixing until we got it to where we wanted it. So here's the consistency that you want. And I'm gonna go and apply a thin first coat, like a base layer, and then I'll add the next coat. So this is like a rough coat. I'm gonna just do it real quick. It could be sloppy, but yeah. Here you'll notice that I'm adding water to the wall. And the reason for that is because you want the cob to be moist. If it's dry, then the cob itself will suck out the moisture from your lime plaster, and then your lime plaster can crack and break and flake. So you don't want that to happen. We were yanking and banking, but we had to stop again. So aside from the monsoons and having to stop and work, depending on when the rains were coming, we also ran out of sand. We do have the natural sand here, but that is very time consuming to harvest that, so we had to go buy some. So in town, we found a great place and we're able to pick up sand. And then since our pop-up thingy broke, we still have the cover from it. We're gonna use this as like the tarp to put the sand on top of. So, all things working together. You gonna watch me do this?
Oh yeah.
Without the tools.
Looks like it's going so well for you.
It is. Like...
All right.
With the sand all unloaded from the truck, I was able to start mixing batches of lime again. And from there, it was just a process of mixing and applying till it got to the point where we actually finished. So we had to finish out the project of that metal wall, and we had to fill in that corner gap. So hubby used pallet wood, and then I couldn't think of the name of this method at the time of recording, but it's shosugiban, and it's a Japanese method of charring wood for waterproofing. There's the aftermath. It's looking beautiful. It came out more like stucco. The sand that we got was coarse sand, so it's just what we had to use. But I still love it. There's our little beginner wall that we started with. Put that metal in front for that toilet area. There's where the shower's going. And then we have that wood. I don't remember what that technique is called, but hubby burnt the wood with a blowtorch. So another positive to the rainy season, that we could play with fire. So here she is. All done. Aw, so cute. The antelope just bucking around.